Alright guys, so my steering was getting a little sloppy on my '07 Dodge 3500 Mega Cab, so I looked online and I found this kit right here from Performance Steering Components. I got it at Summit Racing. There's the part number for this particular truck. So I took it out of the box, made sure I got all the stuff that I was supposed to have. Got 4 bolts, 2 lock washers, 2 regular washers for the sway bar, and then you've got 2 other bolts that you're going to bolt the bearing on with. So basically, as the instructions go, obviously I've already got this whole project buttoned up, but you can see the pitman arm right here. So basically you unthread the nut that was on the end of the pitman arm here and take that washer off, and that took a 1 5/16" socket. So basically I just used a big ratchet and a 1 5/16" socket to take off that the nut and the lock washer, and then I put on the new this whole unit here from the basically the nut up here, big long, probably about 3 or 4 inches long, that you basically put a new lock washer you see up at the top, and then this shaft, which is going to help you stabilize all your steering here. So basically you bolt that on there. It says 100 and I want to say 165 or 185 foot-pounds. Unless you have an enormously long socket, you're not going to get that on there. So I just use a big wrench and just tighten it down until I couldn't turn it anymore. Didn't gorilla it or anything like that. But then the next step was to take the bolts out of your sway bar right here, and those bolts were a 15mm socket required for those. You basically take those out. I put my jacks right here. I put that under the sway bar just so the sway bar didn't fall off and hit me in the face or something like that, because I'm laying on the ground underneath my truck here. So I did that. I took those bolts out, and then you know, you've got your whole support bar right here. So basically you just, you know, push your sway bar back up, and then this is going to go in between your sway bar and the frame again, and then it gives you some bolts with lock washers and regular washers, and it took a 17mm socket to put those in, and then it says to torque those down to 36 foot-pounds. What I ended up doing is I just got those in there nice and loose, just so it would hold it together, and then I put this bearing on, and I had a little bit of issue. This wasn't quite lined up, so I found it easier to put the bearing on and snug these nuts down first before I snug down the bolts at the sway bar. That worked out best for me. So it says you're gonna have to tap that bearing on with a soft hammer. So that's what I did. I used a little bit of grease on there and it just slid right on for me, so I didn't have any issue with that. These bolts right here, 5/8 on both sides, and then those got torqued down to 75 foot-pounds to the sway bar, and I torqued those ones down to 36 foot-pounds. So that got all done, and then the last thing to do was to tighten up these two little Allen set screws essentially, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that took 1/8 inch Allen key was what we used to tighten that up. So I haven't test drove it yet, but everything bolted up nice and easy. Probably, I mean, it says it takes you 30 or 40 minutes. I'd say that was pretty accurate. If you just put this on first, which I didn't do, I did the sway bar like it said, and then it just wasn't quite centered up. So I just loosened everything up, made sure this was all centered up. There's a big hole in this plate right here that this shaft goes through, so I just try to center that up by basically putting this together, and that helped me center that in the hole. So I tightened all this stuff down first, then I did the sway bar stuff, and it ended up being pretty sweet. So I will maybe take this thing for a drive and then let you guys know how it works. All right, guys, so I just took the truck for a drive, and it seems like the issue that I felt like I was having, like a little bit of sloppy steering, has been taken care of. So I'm pretty happy with the install, and I would definitely suggest it. So just a little follow-up, I guess. I'll continue to drive it, and I'll throw some updates if I have any. So appreciate you guys watching the channel. Give it a thumbs up, hit that like button, and subscribe to my channel if you wouldn't mind. Appreciate it. Have a good day, guys.